G'day all. Just a quick sound check if you don't mind, please, guys. If you can let me know you can hear me, that'd be fantastic. Usually a slight lag here, so I'm sure I'll see the messages come through in a moment. Just want to go through and have a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two obviously big dogs of the space, by quite a considerable amount. I mean, Ethereum is still, I think, 2 times that of XRP. Good. Looks like everybody's got me loud and clear. Excellent. Okay, let's jump up to the charts. Now, I'm not putting myself in the corner on this one simply because I've not shaved my head or my face and I'm dressed like a bit of a hobo, as I wasn't really expecting to go live tonight. So anyway, let's get going. If you've got any questions, please, this is an interactive session. Make sure you ask me. I'm more than happy to answer your questions, see what's coming through and, have a conversation, see what you want to look at. All right, cool. So I want to look at Bitcoin first. I'm looking at the Bitfinex chart right here as it stands. And of course, just hanging out around that $10,000 mark right now. Not too much going on there. If you can't see, I'm not sure. I think it might be your end, as I can definitely see things my end. So maybe start again. Okay, cool. All right, so we're sitting around 10,000 right now. A couple of things to note. First of all, I'm going to start at the weekly here and move my way out. If you look at this weekly chart, it's pretty messy, right? It's not really showing me a great deal. To be fair, there's a couple of different levels right now on this weekly that I'm interested in. The first is this level. If it breaks down through these lows with this lower high potentially, then we've got a lower high and lower low, i.e. a weekly downtrend. Let's see 1 month, see how that looks. Looking at the monthly right now, of course, this was our decent pullback, right? That was our pullback, and that pullback, how deep did we go there? I haven't even looked at this. We went down 83% from the highs. Fair enough. But look at what we did see. Huge run up. It's not too obscene to see a decent pullback like that. The monthly, look, it could certainly pull back further. I mean, anybody who's followed me for a little while will understand or know that I use a zone called the cradle area, or the cradle zone, between the 10 and 20 period moving average. So if it pulls back into there, that gets us into around that 7 to 7,000-ish, that sort of level. So yeah, it's, for me, it could definitely get in there. I mean, look at the months: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months green, and especially these three, 1, 2, 3, a very large move in there. I speak to this move from the lows to the high quite frequently, 327% upside. Very, very big move indeed. And look, where we are right now, we're not that far off all-time highs. It's not that far off. I'll jump back to the weekly now and show if we do break down through this level, then yeah, sure, I can see us getting back onto that monthly. No doubt at all. It could certainly do that. But one of the things I want to look at here is just how messy this chart has become. I want to look back into the history of Bitcoin and its bullish moves to see how long we can expect to wait from time to time. Now, I'm going to go back to this 2016-17 run, because that was a very strong one. If you look back here, end of 15, start of 16, we saw a very large period. What will we say? Let's go from December to May. I mean, that's a pretty long period of time for nothing to really occur. And we might actually go into that. If you consider the fact that we had a push up and then a consolidation, and then the move started, we've had a push up, a consolidation, and perhaps that will be the catalyst for our next move. I don't know this, but what I am looking at is what the past can represent to me prior to a really big move. We could sit sideways for quite some time, guys. That's the reality of this. It's certainly, when it pulled back in and we saw this bullish candle, and then this one, I looked at this and went, okay, if we can break the high of this candle, then we may just see a continuation of this weekly uptrend. There's our higher low. As it broke through here, that was at the point that I said higher high, and that's the point that I was suggesting that the uptrend had kicked back in. I'm not saying that I took a long trade there. That's not what I'm trying to get across. That's not my message. It's that is where the trend changed. As it broke up through this level here, we went into a weekly uptrend. And of course, history can show us that we've seen a very strong move since then. But we are definitely in a funny little zone right now. One of the other things that I want to point out is this. We have a higher low here to this, only by a very small margin, and a higher high. This bullish candle here was of interest to me. We didn't break the high of that. We actually pulled back. But here, above 10,000, so on and so forth, right? Good to see Crypto Koala. This candle here closed above 10,000. What will this candle do? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Sydney time. But I want to bring this up on the 4-hour. The runs that we have had since these big highs have been getting smaller and smaller. Now, I'm a trader that looks for opportunity, right? My strategies are my strategies, and I'll trade whatever's there. This particular trade here, I did not take. It was also on the 2, I believe. Where's that? Was it the 2 or was it just the 4? Where am I looking here? No, it was. Yeah, it was only the 4. I was actually at an event, so I did not capture that short there, but many people did and did very well from that, of course. Stop, moved down to here, stopped out eventually. Then we saw this relatively messy fall. There's no pullbacks, no beautiful opportunities there in the cradle. Then we saw this run back up, and this was on the Thursday night, 3 weeks ago. I remember it was the Thursday before I went to Noosa. And we saw a beautiful little cradle candle here, which ended up being a very profitable run. Now, I haven't had many trades since back then, and that was the beginning of August. It's been a very, very cautious month for me thus far. Not many trades since then, simply because I haven't had many opportunities. We've seen trades set up, just not trigger. And the difficult thing as a trader is to make sure you don't give your money back. I know that when I was learning, I used to always, well, not always, but very, very frequently have a good run. And then post that good run, I would give a lot of those profits back. And I've learned that lesson now. It's something that I have learned how to deal with. Just because you're not taking trades doesn't mean you shouldn't be in the market. It just means you've got to be patient. Then we saw this fall. Now that fall, the only potential opportunity that I could see through that whole thing was this. And it wasn't one that I took because I was asleep or not there. The 11 o'clock candle, the 12 o'clock candle, the next one, we had some convergence, and that breakdown was nice. But I did not take that. I don't know if anybody did, but it was a setup. Since then, we saw another fall after that 2-hour cradle, and now look at this. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high. Pulled back into the cradle zone and failed. What I'm getting at here is that each of these moves, whether they be up or down or up or down, are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Which means that where we were able to find the odd opportunity in those little runs, we no longer are able to find it. And this 4-hour chart right here, it doesn't fill me with any joy, nor does the 2, nor does the 1. If you note this big sell-off, 15-minute, it happened very, very quickly, and it's been relatively messy since then. Now, it's not just Bitcoin that is also messy. If we look at Ethereum here, the one thing that I've got to grapple with myself, my own head, is that beautiful pullback into the 61.8, $200 round number, bearish candle in the cradle zone. It's a nice looking cradle there. Could have been 1-to-1, didn't take it. And the reason I didn't take it was because I saw Bitcoin becoming bullish, and I just didn't take it. And I've told the people that I trade with, the people in the community and whatnot, that I need to do an assessment on that. Now, I made a decision and I stuck by that decision, which is fine. But I need to understand if I was maybe a little bit too, I don't know, maybe over the top on that. I've got to rule trade what you see, not what you think. But the problem with crypto is, especially with something like Ethereum, if Bitcoin goes up, so too will Ethereum, more or less. Not at the same rate, but it's very often the case. Question, as fiat fails, could you see the rich take refuge accepting 90% loss versus 99% in fiat? Dale, I think that's a long way out. That would be a cataclysmic move and a shift in the world as we know it. I don't really know. None of my ability to predict has anything to do with something so severe as that, but it will unfold over time if that was ever to happen. So you would, get a fair few more signs than what we've got right now. But yeah, again, coming back to Ethereum, I didn't take that daily candle. I was very open to trading this if I was to get a trade through this breakout level. But again, look at how messy these charts are. The charts right now are quite messy. And look, the bottom line is this, guys. When I trade, it's my money. When you trade, it's your money. Now, I can go long, I can go short. If the market falls, I'll hedge, I'll short, I'll trade. If the market goes higher, I'll short. Sorry, I'll go long and I'll trade with margin. What I learned many years ago was that direction is all that we need. As a trader, I just need clear direction, and I just don't have it on the mids. The daily, yes, lower low, lower high, haven't made a lower low yet, but there is a much better bit of direction there. But the opportunity is past. It's a real thing as a trader to do nothing. And if you can't fathom that, then you need to really focus on your psychology. Doing nothing is often the best thing you can possibly do. I've had a good month thus far just off that one Bitcoin trade. I believe I gave a little bit back. I got a 1-to-1 on Monero, but I think I gave a little bit back on a non-leveraged trade on a Binance pair against Bitcoin. My role right now is to focus on keeping the capital that I have in my account and just plucking out the odd little gem here and there. And that's really what it's all about. So from my point of view, Bitcoin, Ethereum, not a great deal going on right now. It's a really good time to work on your trading plans, go through your past trades, try and learn as much as you can, get sharp, get ready for whether this market goes up or down. And if you don't know what you're doing in that space, make sure you follow me on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, all those types of things so that you know when I go live again. We'll try and help you as much as we possibly can. Have a fantastic evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bye for now.